Partagas Cigars, makers of the Saga Golden Age. The Golden Age is a cigar that takes you back to the classic days of cigar smoking. Through the 6 generations of experience by the Reyes family, Saga Golden Age delivers a timeless blend that uses the nobility of the tobacco to bring you the perfect balance of power and flavor. It narrates better than words the history of a family's tradition in tobacco, delivering a cigar much like the ones they used to smoke in the times of Hemingway. Saga Golden Age is a full-bodied, full-flavored Dominican Puro. With tobaccos from one farm, the blend features a Corojo 2006 wrapper and filler from original Cuban seeds grown in the Dominican Republic. Available in 4 sizes at an affordable price, the Saga Golden Age is sure to please and take you back on a journey to yesteryear. Rocky Patel Premium Cigars. The era of elegance continues as they celebrate 20 years of creating iconic cigars, delivering nothing short of magnificent. The Rocky Patel 20th Anniversary cigar line follows the lineage of the Rocky Patel Decade and 15th Anniversary. 4 years in the making, it's a masterfully crafted cigar. The blend combines fillers from Esteli and Jalapa, Nicaragua, as well as Yamastren, Honduras. Encompassing an elegant Honduran wrapper, this box-press beauty is soon to be legendary. The Rocky Patel 20th Anniversary. The era of elegance continues. For more information, visit them on the web at rockypatel.com, and be sure to follow Rocky Patel Premium Cigars on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
When we review or report on something, we don't want there to be any guesswork. We believe the information must be accurate and it has to be reliable. For what we review, the goal is hopefully to educate our audience, and at the same time, an equally important goal is in turn to get educated ourselves. What we want to do is earn the trust of our audience, and to do that, we ensure what we report is accurate, rumor-free, and teaser-free. The premium cigar industry is so dynamic, and every day brings something new. We wanted Cigar Coop to be an extension of that experience, so it has to be 365 days a year. We wanted to create a true media ecosystem and integrate Cigar Coop with the power of our Stogie Geeks programming network.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Stogie Geeks show. We're just getting our second cigar of the evening lit up. I had to do a little, we're going to run this on a segment on repairing cigars. I had a little wrapper leaf coming off mine. Put a little glue on there. Hold it together. This cigar that we're smoking is a Tatuaje Old Man and the Sea. This is a set that comes with a Culebra, just 3 cigars bound together with like little pieces of string. We've talked about them on the show before. And this one also comes with a Tatuaje Black Lancero. So there was a couple of different revisions. One was a El Triunfador, which is an older one, and one was the Tatuaje Black Lancero, which came with the Culebra in this like individual coffin. I got these on closeout some time ago. So these cigars have some pretty serious age on them, actually. And I figured since there was 3 of us here in the studio, it was a good way to, it's a great way, actually, if you've got 3 people and everyone needs a cigar, break out a Culebra. I mean, why not?
Appreciate it. Thank you.
It's like the blood brothers of cigars. It's been
That's
all
right. Yeah, exactly.
It's all been bonded, and now we're all
That's it.
having the thing.
We're brothers now.
Welcome
That's
aboard.
We're cigar brothers.
Welcome aboard. Right?
Yes. These are good. These are pretty old. I don't know when these cigars came out. It was some time ago. And they just keep getting better with, I mean,
that retro
cigars get better with age. But let me tell you, these sets I bought, I don't know, they like I said, they were on closeout at a local shop. So I bought, and there was like 40% of them. So I bought like a whole ton of them. Like no one else was buying them. Like, why aren't you buying them? I'm like, these things are awesome. People are, I don't know, put off by Culebras or whatever. I don't understand it. But I bought a bunch, and I've just been letting them age and age and age, and I break them out every once in a while, and they're so awesome. They're so awesome.
It's very tasty.
It's amazing that these cigars actually smoke. And going back to our previous segment on draw pokers, this is not one you'd ever want to use a draw poker on. One of the dangers of using a draw poker is if you're not perfectly straight, if you go on an angle, you're going to come through the wrapper, and then it's done. That cigar is done. Well, it's not done. You could repair it, which we're going to do some segments on that. You could repair it, but these are actually underfilled so that they're pliable enough to roll all 3 together. So
it's amazing how it stays intact. Like I'm just looking at the way it's just twisted.
Yeah,
You know,
It stays together. It's amazing that they smoke. They're very awkward to put in the ashtray.
Firm throughout, and man, I'm excited.
light fingers. That's my advice when you smoke these. You use light fingers.
Jody, move your microphone a little closer to your mouth. There you go. Thank you.
You got it.
We want to hear what you have to say, Jody. What have you been smoking lately, Joe D? That's been good.
Always with the Kristoff. Anything Kristoff's a win, always. And
Except for that Jared guy. What is his
La
deal
Mission by L'Atelier.
Joe just keeps moving. He's like, nope, not touching that with a 20-foot pole.
Move the chains.
The chains. You are a big Kristoff fan, though.
I am an absolute.
I tell you
love
what,
it.
the pistol we did last week, Jared and Dan, who's another Hendricken. What is it with people from
Right.
Hendricken coming on the show? Now, you'd say you went to Hendricken.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What is with the producers now? I have a bone to pick with the producers. 2 weeks in a row, 2 different people from Hendricken.
The quote has been reached.
I went to
Let's,
LaSalle, damn it. This is not how we want to run the show.
At least your schools are still in business.
Where did you go to high school? All right, so let's play
I went to Fatima and it got shut down.
No, well,
You know,
they're like, Joe Hozempa was all we can handle.
if I go to an alumni reunion, it's like, which restaurant is it in? Oh, I want to go check out the old football field. It's not a football field anymore. It's, you know,
piecemeal. Oh man.
yeah.
So anyway, Kristoff, the pissed off Kristoff, I love that cigar.
It's
to be honest with you.
it's a game changer.
It's awesome.
It's
I do like the Cameroon too.
big fan of the Cameroon, the GC, the San Andreas.
You're like, oh, you're all in with these.
Yeah,
I know
he's
you're
like-
all. in
I've
with
got my 7 go-tos and cycling them in and out, and I wasn't as on board with the Connecticut right out of the gate, and I'm a believer now. I
I
love
think
it.
the Connecticut needs some time. I agree. The Fratello Connecticut's that I've been smoking, I also think need a little bit of time, and they'll come into their own.
Off your suggestion, I went next door and a couple weeks back and had the Fratello Connecticut, and I enjoyed it.
Which size did you choose? Very important. There's a quite the selection.
I typically go with the Churchill, and I've been, if that, they even make that size, but for all cigars.
Did they make that size or not? Did Omar make a size just for you?
You know what? I saw.
Because he would. I mean, he's a nice enough guy. He'd be like, you know what, Joe D?
The
I'm going
ones-
to make a size just for you. Is the Joe D. Churchill.
You know what? I didn't take
Just for
I
you.
didn't take the time. My eyes lit up. I saw that the first one I saw I grabbed, and I enjoyed it.
That's okay. I can tell you what sizes they're actually made in, thanks to our good friend Will Cooper at cigar-coop.com, who did a review of the Fratello Oro Connecticut, as he calls it. It comes in a Corona Robusto, Robusto Extra, Toro, a Gordo, and the Boxer, which is a box press torpedo. So you probably had the 6 1/4 by 54 Toro.
Sounds right.
It's probably closest to the Churchill.
Yep.
I recently smoked the Gordo. I really liked it, to be honest with you. This is what I was talking about before. Like, I smoked a 60 ring. Like, I was like, I'm like, as a cigar reviewer, I'm like, I like to smoke all, like, not all. I can't smoke every size in every single line. I mean, I can try. Believe me, I give it the honest effort to do that. But it's like next to impossible unless you've got a team of people, and then there's never one person that's going to smoke every single size in every single line of every cigar that's on the market. I mean, Coop probably comes pretty close. There's some other reviewers that try and get there. I'm telling you, it doesn't happen because there's just too many. I mean, just in Omar's line, right, there's 6 different sizes. And for a fair review, I mean, honestly, you should smoke 2. I mean, there's 12 cigars right there. I mean, that's at least a couple of hours or maybe a day. I don't know. At least a couple hours of smoking time.
Right.
12, be realistic, 12 cigars. How long does it take you to smoke 12 cigars? That's at least 2 days. I mean, 6
10,
cigars
yeah.
a day.
Yeah.
That's at least 2 days worth of smoking, right? And even at that, your palate's pretty tired. I try and give my palate kind of like a break, right?
Plus, you want to change it up. You want to go different flavors, and not.
You're absolutely right, Joe. You don't want to smoke. I tried, like, if I review Connecticut, right, it's more in the morning. I try and smoke something different to give your palate kind of a fresh take on what you've been smoking.
I'm probably the minority in the house as far as Connecticut goes, but I'm not a coffee guy. But I do like the hot chocolate. I'll mix that in with Connecticut. And
I see what you drink on Facebook with your cigars. I see you.
And his Kristoff hat.
Is Kristoff?
Oh yeah,
It's Kristoff.
Kristoff hat on.
Kristoff
His new
cigar.
Kristoff hat. I thought I was the only one on the planet who had that hat last week, but I guess not.
No, no. Joe D has like every Kristoff.
Oh
hat.
yeah, he's got he's got the
Every single
t-shirts.
cigar on the line. It's like
support what you love.
Twisted
you know?
tea.
Bangle bracelets coming soon.
You're a big fan of the Twisted Tea, which
Love
I can see going well with a cigar. Believe me.
Love the Twisted Tea. Yeah, all moderation, but whatever.
I mean, it's sugary, but it's okay to pair. I think a sugary drink with your cigar. We did a whole segment on pairing cigars with soda. So
whatever you're drinking is, as long as it's consistent, that's gonna. I feel it's gonna add to whatever assessment you throw in the cigar. You know where it's coming from.
So let's go back. Fratello Oro. We've reviewed it because there are so many. What did I say? Six
Yep.
sizes. A lot of different sizes in this line. Gorgeous packaging. Omar's a friend of the show. He's been on the show 2 or 3 times. Super nice guy. I love Connecticut's. It's like a recipe for, even though, like Omar, Fratello's not a sponsor of the show or whatever, but like it's a recipe for us talking, and the fact that Next Door got in like every single size, it's a recipe for us talking about it, which is fine. I liked the 6x60. I thought it was a good cigar. I thought it had a ton of sweetness. For a 6x60, I tell you what, especially in Connecticut, it had a ton of sweetness in this size. I don't know if it's my favorite. I like some of the smaller sizes better. I think it was the Corona that I probably rated number 1 in terms of all the ones in that. But the 6x60 had a ton of sweetness, so I called it a box split. And you smoked the Toro?
6x52, I believe.
6x, hold on, I can tell you exactly what it is. 6 1/4 by 54 Toro. Good morning smoke?
Absolutely. I'd probably go with a box split as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's a good line. I think it's it's getting better with age. I think when it first landed in the shop, I was like needs a little age. Even like a week or 2 after that, when cigars come in like that, and I smoke them like basically like right off the truck, like it had been in their humidor for like less than 48 hours, and I smoke it, I'm like, I gotta try that again. If in a week's time in my humidor, or even the Havanas humidor, whatever, it gets better, I'm like, yeah, it's going to continue to get better and come into its own. So that may be a testament of why even the 6x60 is rating higher. I just think it's had some time to come into its own.
You're a pretty big Fratello fan coming out, before you try that.
I like it.
So I wonder if that sways where you go. I love Fratello.
What sways where I go is that Omar is such a nice guy and a good friend of the show. I can't. Sometimes I find it difficult in my heart to rate his cigars without taking that in consideration. His original line, I think, is good. It depends on the size. Mm-hmm. I thought that the Fratello White, probably one of the most underrated offerings in cigars in recent times. I think the white is the Bianco, I think he calls it. Fratello White is awesome. I think his Connecticut, as it ages a little bit, is really, really a strong offering. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a size that you don't like in that Fratello Oro in the Connecticut. So I think there's a box purchase in there in that line for a lot of people because he offered so many sizes. So there is a box. That Boxer is that what he calls it? The Boxer Oro is a 6 1/4 by 52 box press torpedo. It's a gorgeous looking cigar. It's gorgeous looking.
Not the biggest Connecticut fan, but that's definitely in the top 5 for myself right now.
Yeah.
I've not,
That's good.
marching through. Yep. But you
Ozempa, what
Yes.
about you? Do you need me to read? You don't have your computer in front of you?
My computer's down here, but
Do you need a minute to get that, get that going? or?
I put it on the Tatawahe Black, the Tat Black Petite Lancero.
I don't know if I can log into the blog, to be honest.
This has been my smoke of the week. I had this smoke. And
Oh wait, I can read it from this other page. Sorry, keep going.
I've had this smoke and I'm like, wow. I like it. Had it in the morning. It's all Nicaraguan. Rapid binder filler.
Where did you find these Tat Black? The black Petite Lanceros used to be like really hard to find.
Well, I guess from what I've heard, they had come out a couple of years ago, and the original blend was supposedly a little stronger and a little better.
It was,
there.
It was a little better.
But
too,
I
than
got my
what-
hands on the Tatuaje Black Petit Lancero over at Regency in Barrington. And I was there in the middle of the week last week. And, you know, I've been trying, when I'm going to humidors now, I'm not, pre-Stogie Geeks, I used to go to my go-tos. You know what I mean?
Now you're branching out.
And now I'm branching out. I'm still trying. I did buy some to age. I'm getting in that habit now. You know, I don't know how much longer I can wait, right? But you know, I've had it, and like I said, Rapid Minor filler. It's all Nicaraguan. Great cigar. Had it in the morning. If you want to be woken up, and you like pepper and you like strong cigar. It's there, and of course, like almost every Lancero in a retail humidor shop, there's plenty to go around because that's not a popular size.
Unfortunately,
unfortunately, and I tell people like you really should get into those. They're really neat cigars. So I gave it box worthy for sure.
My memory is kind of fading on the original Tatuaje Black. I want to say they started out, and I'm sure a listener will correct me, as like an event-only cigar. Like there used to be a Robusto that was only given out at like events. It was a very, very limited blend that he would give out. And some of the early ones I had were just amazing. And he's taken that original black line and done different things with it. Now to the point where I believe there's a lot of regular production.
Yeah, there's about off the top of my head.
There's tons now.
There's like 4 or 5 different sizes.
Yeah.
Now but you know it's good. It's good smoke. Box worthy.
Yeah, there is a black Lancero in this, a full Lancero in this one that we're smoking, the Old Man in the Sea.
Have it tomorrow morning instead of Connecticut. It'll wake you up.
Oh yeah. I have the
any day.
I have several Corona Gorda that came in the jar, and that was one that was very anticipated. There was a lot of buzz around it.
Yep.
And I tell you what, when I smoked the first one of those, I was like, I got to get myself a bunch of jars, and I did, and I still smoke them to this day. I probably have a good 2 full jars in my humidors. Well, maybe not full, but 2 jars I'm working off of in different humidors. Awesome.
Guaranteed win. Yep.
Oh, just awesome. The Corona Gorda is probably my favorite. Other than those ones that came out like years ago that were just amazing event-only cigars, which the blend I think has changed since then. So, let's see. What else have I been smoking? Earlier today, I was smoking that Zino Platinum. Do you know which one that was? That was actually the make of L.A.
Another tasty.
And the reason I smoked it is, Jody, you said that you were smoking one of those Zinos. You were texting me about that a while back. They did one for a lot of different cities. There was like, there was the make of L.A., there was one for New York, and they did, it's a Zino Platinum series. But
price point might have been $18, but man, was that good. Beyond enjoyable.
I was sniffing the foot and the wrapper, and I'm like, it kind of smelled like, what did I say, dirty diaper?
That was the word you used, yes. I didn't know. I was like, wait, yeah, Mike, can I say that? Can I say that on here? Right?
Judges?
You know. He's like, and he lit it up, right? He lit it up this morning, about 11 change this morning, and he lit it up, and he's like, you know, smell, but then he's like, and let me tell you, the smoke, the ambient smoke,
room aroma.
The room aroma,
Yep.
It's like a pipe. I'm looking forward.
Like pipe tobacco.
It smelled like pipe tobacco, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's my next."
Yeah, and Joe's like, "Is that like infused?" I'm like, "No, it's not infused. Like this is the tobacco they're working with."
Did it smoke like pipe tobacco from no?
It didn't taste like pipe tobacco at all, but I can see where you get that from the room.
It has that
aroma.
sweet. The pipe tobacco has that unique sweetness.
It was like an herbally. Zino's very much known for that herbally kind of sweetness, and that wrapper, the foot aroma before it, pre-lit aroma, I should say, was very dank and nasty.
Yeah.
Like dirty diaper, really, was what I thought of, which sounds terrible. Like there are people at Zino that probably want to like throw things at me right now. But I tell you what, once I lit that cigar up, like the first 2/3 for me were awesome. Like the flavors were great. It smoked great. I got a little bit of that herbal notes, some earthiness to it. I really liked it. It was very smooth. the final third amped up in strength. I couldn't believe it. Like
Really?
I lit up in the morning, like you said,
Right.
and I was like, "Oh, this is good." And I got down to the last third. I'm like, "Oh my
Here we go.
god!" I'm like, "Oh,
Game on. Game on.
I gotta put my I gotta put my seatbelt on for this one." I'm like, "Wow." No, but it was a really, really good cigar.
Would you rate it?
Coop I rated it a 5.
Okay.
I would keep 5 of these around. Again, it made some very distinct changes from first third, second third. Was in a similar. It really kind of amped up in strength towards the end, but first third was definitely mild to medium, and then very strong medium, and then almost medium full when it finished. So strength-wise, it definitely changed, but flavor profile-wise, like you first light it up, it's got like the body changed throughout that cigar from even a mild to medium body all the way to full bodied by the time you were finished, which was an amazing journey for me to have a cigar change like that. And the flavors did change as well. The herbalness always tapers off for me after the first third.
What would hamper the rating as far like due to price or?
Like if the whole cigar were to keep that first third and keep it like straight medium, keep that herbal essence throughout the whole thing, I liked that. Like that for me was the cigar. When it started changing and getting like richer and stronger, that kind of, I don't know. It's like the cigar didn't know what do you want to be? Do you want to be like a nice medium body cigar with a nice herbal profile, or do you want to be like a richer cigar with a stronger profile? Like what
Would you have had the same take had it been later in the day? You smoked it in the morning. You said
when a cigar does that like really sharp contrast, that kind of.
So it's that noticeable.
Yeah, like you gotta like. One of the things Stogie Santa always said, like I smoked that cigar and I didn't quite know where it was going. That was what contributed to the 5. Like, where are you going? You know what I mean? Like you're taking me on a journey, but you're all over the place, right? You're like those old ladies driving that are lost in the Facebook videos, like. Cackling about should I go left, should I go right? Like,
somebody's front yard before you know it.
Yeah. So for that reason, that's why it was a 5. I really, if the cigar had defined itself as nice, subtle herbal flavors, a little bit of earth, kind of kept that same profile the whole way through, it changed directions too sharply for me.
Drastically at the end.
To deserve a higher rating. And so this was the make of LA. There's a whole story on Cigar Coop, the whole behind the cigar. It was the second release. These were released at the 2013 IPCPR trade show. They did one for New York. Obviously, this one was LA. And the wrapper is a Habana Ecuador. The binder is Yamasa. And the filler is way too many words to repeat on the show. I mean, it goes from San Vicente, Mejorado Visas, Piloto Visas, Olor Piloto Visas. There's a lot of different fillers in there. But you can read the full thing on cigar-coop.com.
I've been eyeing that cigar for about 6 weeks now, and
give it a chance.
I've been eyeing it, and it's like saying I don't know, like you know what I mean,
we were talking
when you see it, did you ever have a cigar like that? And you're like I don't know.
You're like
I want to say
because it's like 18.
Have one of your friends smoke it. Have one of your friends smoke it first.
Give it a try. Give it a try.
Yeah.
You might like it.
Yeah.
5 is a good rating for a cigar. Zino makes, if you're in the mood for something different, right? I would suggest going to the Zino line. Like even the regular line, it's so different from what's on the market today. That the specific herbal profile they have in that Zino line is very different.
Is that what it's all about? The game changer. You want like.
See, I might like that. You know what I mean? Like I might. I'm like to me the fact that you said that it switched. Now I'm like okay. I will have that before the next show. Like I'm like, okay, because
I'm curious to see what you think about it.
You want to take that journey.
I want to.
You want to see where it goes.
You know.
Sometimes though, like being different is one thing, and you try a cigar and you're like, wow, you're trying to really be different, and you're like, but it sucks.
So you weren't impressed with the end. It was just too strong.
But not just this cigar. Like there are other cigars where, like the flavor profile is so unique, and I'm like, wow, like you score a ton of points for being different. But
because you enjoy,
you're so not in my wheelhouse. Like it is just terrible. There were some actually ones in the. Was it a Byron? No. What was the other one from the guys at Two Guys? It should be that guy's cigar. It was almost like an infused cigar. It was so different. Like you were saying, this one was infused. There are some other cigars where used Atabey. Thank you, Riley. The Atabey is like some of their offerings are so sharply just different that you swear it's just like Kentucky Fire Cured falls in that.
Yeah.
Like it's so like sharp right turn.
Huge fan.
From anything you've ever smoked.
You like those?
Being a fireman, it speaks to me. It's yeah.
Well, yeah, because it tastes like you're smoking fire. Now let me tell you this. But hold on.
Yeah.
I wouldn't smoke that like in my morning with coffee, or like maybe I'd pair it with a really.
That's going to knock you out of your shoes.
With a Bloody Mary. It's a good cigar to have.
Right pairing? Yeah.
I paired a Camacho barrel aged with a Bloody Mary. It did well. Some of those ones that like take that sharp right turn,
Right.
like that, and almost go like almost infused. I mean, it is it's not infused, but just the way they make that cigar makes that flavor like huge right turn. You find the right situation and the right drink to pair it with. It's not fire cured with a Bloody Mary, and I'm a huge fan of Bloody Marys. You gotta like again,
Right.
you gotta like Bloody Marys.
Yep.
You gotta like them with a little chipotle seasoning, like that complements that fire cured. That's a good.
Getting back to one of your previous segments, months back, it's for me, it's the end of the night. It's a nightcap cigar, that Neanderthal, Kentucky Fire Cured. When you've got a few in the tank already, and you want to finish the night off with a little bang, a little something.
Yeah, if your palate's
something
tired,
extra.
like Kentucky Fire Cured all day long.
Gonna wake you up. Yeah.
Like 11 o'clock in the morning when your palate's fresh and you're having coffee. It's like the worst time to smoke. I've lit up a Kentucky Fire Cured and I'm like, I just can't smoke this cigar right now. Like, this is just way too far from where I'm at right now to smoke this cigar.
Taking the TV timeout. Yep.
What else you been smoking, Joe?
Do
Hold on, I can tell you because
my fourth one. Do my fourth one because I'm really looking for
AJ Fernandez.
either listener feedback or your feedback. The Bellis, what is it? Bellis Artes.
Yeah, Bell Artes Short Churchill.
Yeah, Bellis Artes. I had the
I'm sure we're saying that wrong too.
the Bellis Artes by AJ Fernandez. Had that cigar. Took a picture of it. A lot of my friends, I was at another cigar shop, and they're like, you got to try it, you got to try it. I was like, all right, sure. I tried it, and I'm like, huh. Like, what do you think? I'm like, hey, it's mild. It didn't do anything for me, and I'm really, really trying to get into that brand. You know what I mean? Because I know from a retail perspective,
It translates to fine arts.
yeah, but and from a retail perspective, it does well. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's either 80% of the consumers have it right and I have it wrong, or because I just, the way that either friends or people I know within the industry, cigar shop owners tried it. You know, he's like, why don't you try it? I was like, oh, sure. And I just can't get into that. I just can't get into it. I don't know what it is. It's not terrible. Construction's awesome. It's a good smoke. It's a good mild smoke. But to me, it's just like everything else. I didn't even rate it, but I wanted to bring it up because
Coop
if there's a listener, because Coop gave it great ratings.
Coop gave it a box, but he does kind of say that the other sizes were not as great. But in this short Churchill, it was like kind of the belle of the ball for him, and he rated it a box split.
Yeah, he rated it a box split. And then when you Google the cigar and look at other ratings, they're giving it good ratings as well. And when I speak to the cigar shop owner, and they say it flies off the shelf. You know what I mean? So
You happen to let the hype play into it, where you were so excited to try it?
No, I never. I wasn't excited at all to try it. It was the first cigar of the day that I tried, and I was just like, it was a stick. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't, I wouldn't give it even like a try one. It would be, but it just didn't do anything for me. But the thing is, I'm noticing that brand is not doing anything for me, but yet it's doing so well in the market. So I wonder if it's something that either I'm missing. I've had it multiple times, different times a day, different there, and it just doesn't. It's good. It's not like I wouldn't take the time out to post it and do that or rate it, because I wouldn't give it a high rating. But again, when you search for the cigar online, a lot of people, reputable people, rate it very well. And I just wonder, what do you think?
I haven't smoked this one yet. I haven't smoked this one yet.
Yeah, I had that Churchill size, and it's slightly pressed, and it's like I said, it's just, it's okay.
Maybe on John's suggestion next door, said give it a second try.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna wait,
Right.
even because I was talking about it, John next door. I was like, "Did you try this guy?" He's like, "Yeah." He goes, Joe, when because his palate, my palate's a kind of he knows what I like. He definitely knows his customers, but he's like, "Joe, give it a second try." He goes, because I was in the same boat. When I have them, I just wait and then I give it a second try, and then that's when we got in the conversation about aging.
Right.
He's like, well, put it in the humidor and age. It's like, well, I walked into the humidor. I want to smoke this now. You know what I mean?
There's something to be said for that, though. I think you're right. I'm kind of I'm more of the patient smoker, where if I smoke it the first time, I like to say that I can recognize potential. That's probably an overstatement.
You'd have to be intrigued initially.
You're absolutely right, Joe D.
to want to go back to it.
Right.
I can recognize when something intrigues me enough to want to put it in my humidor, to age it for a week, 2 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, a year, 3 years, whatever.
That has to follow suit with being, a seasoned smoker, and for myself, new to the game, I probably wouldn't recognize that. I'm thinking,
What you should do, I think, to work to that point, to recognize your own palate, right, is a couple things. I think you got to smoke a lot of different cigars. You got to smoke a lot of different cigars at different aging points. You got to smoke from the same box from day one, week one, month one, 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, and plus.
give that honest assessment.
So that you know how any cigar progresses, right? Then you also got to know your palate when it comes to food and drink, too. Like, you got to know what you like. You got to be able to identify the basics, like salty, sweet, savory, spicy, whatever, and understand what your palate likes. And I think once you do that, then you can kind of make the assessment when you smoke a cigar that comes in like you did, Joe, right? Like right off the truck, you can be like, yeah, that's something that I'll probably like with a little bit of age. Or that's something that has potential enough that I'm going to buy a few more and I'm going to age them and see if I like them. Then you also know your palate well enough to know that if you smoke something, even if it's been a week or two in the humidor at the shop, which you should. I mean, if the cigar shop tells you, like, this just came in yesterday, take everything with a grain of salt.
Right.
If it's got a couple of weeks in the humidor, then you can now you know your own palate once you've gone through the exercises and been like, I'd also throw in there to know your own palate well enough to make these decisions, to do some kind of blending seminar, right? Whether it be with Jose Blanco, whether it be with Fred Rui, whether it be with Manuel and Noah. Know your palate well enough to be able to pick out the different flavors and the different components of the cigar, and how it relates to what you like, right? Like, that's a huge part of it, too. Even better, take a trip down to Nicaragua, Dominican, and get the tour and smoke lots of different cigars. Like, know your palate, and I think that helps you make the determination of what we say here on the show, like, this is what I like when it came first off the truck, or I'm going to like this better in 6 months, or whatever, So it's all about finding your own. We need to get back to that on the show, right? Like, understanding your palate is, I think, a huge part of it. And there's right and wrong, but when it comes to your palate, you're the only one that can determine right or wrong, right? Like, it goes with anything. Some people like certain foods, some people don't. Some people like a peaty, smoky Scotch. Yep. Some people like a Highland. Like, it's all.
It's called the wheelhouse, and you guys have mentioned in the past, circling back around, maybe, and depending time of day, where you're at, what's happening, that could be true. That could be a segment and a half right in itself.
Your wheelhouse is somewhat subjective. Like, your wheelhouse isn't always what you think it is, right? And like, relate that back to food. Like, my wife is Irish. She's sometimes very specific about food, right? And sometimes I'll cook stuff that'll be just a little bit outside of her wheelhouse. Like, she hates all those spices, like rosemary and thyme and all those ridiculous spices, right? She hates all that stuff. And I purposely won't. But sometimes, like, depending on the dish, like, I'll throw a little in, and she'll eat it, and she'll be like, wow, that was really good. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to amaze you and tell you, like, that had a little bit of rosemary in it. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so sometimes, depending on the blend and depending on the time and the experience, you might step a little bit outside your wheelhouse. And so we can't all be closed-minded when it comes to cigars, I think, is a real culmination of this conversation, right? Like, you can't just say, I like Robusto cigars. I like Nicaraguan cigars, right? That's like my wife saying, like, I don't like rosemary. I don't like thyme. Like, you got to be able to go a little bit outside your wheelhouse, and you'd be surprised as to what the final, like, blended concoction is that you like.
If you paint yourself with that one brush, whatever your wheelhouse is, you're certainly limiting moving forward.
Now, having said that, I know there's certain people in my life, certain friends, that I'm like, yeah, dude, like, I know my friend Larry, for example, right? Loves bourbon, has a great palate, right? He does not like dirty martinis. He does not like Bloody Marys. And my wife is in the same thing. So, like, I'm not going to give you, like, if I know that, like, that's your palate, I'm not going to give you those drinks, right? Now, am I going to add a little Worcestershire to your steak? Maybe, because it's in part of a blend, right? Yeah, a little olive juice and something else or whatever. But I'm not going to give you a straight, like we're drinking here tonight, dirty martini or Bloody Mary. Like, I know, like, there are people with those disparate palates, like extreme salty, extreme spicy like that. Like, that's just not going to work for them. So it's interesting how people's palates kind of work towards that. Yeah. But you gotta branch out a little.
I did like that collaboration cigar you had given me.
Which one was that? Did you review one on here?
Yep. If you go to StogieGeeks.com, go to Stogies, it'll be right there. It was it's probably like 5-6 cigars down now. No, the regular Stogie Geeks.
Oh, okay.
You gave me the Hoyo there, and it was AJ Fernandez with Monte Cristo, I believe, off the top of my head.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Which one was that? I did give you one.
Do you want me to boot up my computer while?
Yeah, please do that.
All right.
We did have those floating around. All right, so I'll go through one of mine.
Yep.
La Aurora, Connecticut. La Aurora makes a lot of different Connecticut cigars. Hoya de Monterey by AJ Fernandez.
Yep, that was the that was the one.
Riley.
Thank you, Riley. Right.
They did one like that.
That's Riley's cue for put your computer down. Right? Yeah. No. And the funny thing is, like, again, even in my review, when I first had it, I'm like, oh. Right? It's like you almost want to take off the label and give it to me, but I had it, and then towards the end, I was like, I want another one. You know what I mean? So I was pleasantly surprised with that blend. So, did I say surprised?
You got martinis in you. That's what's making you.
I was pleasantly surprised. I like those. It was good. It was good.
Nothing to see here.
My La Aurora Connecticut Robusto. This is La Aurora makes a lot of different. Like, they put their cigars in kind of like, I don't know if you call them like tiers, right? Like, they make reasonably priced ones that have like the generic La Aurora kind of branding on them, right? Then I guess it's really like 2 tiers, right? Like, the next tier is like Preferito.
Yep.
Right? And Manuel Noah is an awesome guy. Everyone that knows him, like, he is one of the nicest people on the damn planet, right? Like, Manuel is awesome.
Always takes the time.
He does. I think in their kind of like tier 1, it's kind of like hit or miss for me which ones that I gravitate towards. Like, their La Aurora Corojo, I think is really good, because I think the Corojo wrapper they use in that cigar, it has some punch and lets you identify with some flavors, like, right off the bat, you know?
That's mine right there. Oh, yeah.
The Connecticut, though, like, it didn't do it for me. I rated this one to try one. Like, it just didn't, like, it wasn't horrible, but, like, it just didn't have enough going on for me in the Connecticut to really put it in my regular rotation. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't have that smoothie, creamy sweetness. Now, in their Preferito line, their Connecticut is better than a try one, probably a 5er. I think that's like kind of like, I hate to say this because I love Manuel, but that's they're not the best offering in that Preferito line. Because you go into even the regular and the Preferito, like, you can find stuff in there that's freaking Oasis, dude. Like, that La Aurora Cameroon Lancero, freaking Oasis.
Yeah, there you go.
The Connecticut's, for me, like, even in their, like, kind of tier 1, like, lower priced line, which is great. Like I said, the Corojo is awesome in that line because it gives you a great blast of spice, lets you really identify with it. The Connecticut, for me, just, like, didn't do that in that line. But you go to Preferito, like, pretty much all their stuff is awesome.
Absolutely.
You put some age on some of those Maduro Preferitos, and they're like wet spotting my shorts.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I've had the Maduro Preferitos.
Oh,
they're,
my
they're like,
God.
I'm like, oh.
Unbelievable.
I actually had that on Christmas Eve, and that was Christmas Eve. I stopped by a cigar shop, you know, and I was like, all right, Christmas shopping's done, because I usually stop like on Christmas Eve.
Of course.
Right, but yeah, and I was like, okay, last stop, cigar shop, cigar, then on to the family.
But I've had like mixed success in their tier 1, specifically with the Connecticut. It doesn't resonate with my palate. Now, it may resonate with your palate out there at Stogie Geeks, and that's fine. It didn't resonate with my palate. However,
Left you wanting more?
what's that?
Left you wanting more? Is that where?
The flavor
So we had
profile
it-
just didn't like. It wasn't a smooth and creamy experience for me. It didn't have a lot of sweetness. Like, it had a little bit of tartness. Like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't like bitter and sour,
Right.
but like it just didn't have enough of that creaminess and smoothness that I expect from a Connecticut. And I think where they really shine in this line, even in the kind of tier 1, like you buy a regular Cameroon from them, even their lower priced Cameroon, I think is really good. It rates higher than a try one for me. The Connecticut for me is a try one. So
Nice.
that's what you get here on the Stogie Geeks. You get the straight review.
Yeah, no.
It is what it is.
Absolutely.
And I bought a sample actually next door because they carry. I find it like brick and mortar retailers that are nearby. La Aurora, I mean they're awesome next door for that kind of stuff. So
They have everything there.
yeah. From La Aurora, like the Puro Vintage 2003. I want to do Manuel and my friends at La Aurora a favor. Like Puro Vintage 2003, dude, is like wet spot in my shorts all day long. Oh my God, is that cigar freaking awesome? Holy crap! I bought a bundle of those a while back. Like, that cigar has consistently delivered in a Oasis experience. Like, once they got to a certain point of age on that Puro Vintage 2003, which uses tobaccos from 2003, it's released later than that, but it's a Salomon. They got them next door if you guys haven't tried it. Now, they're pricey next door because they're very, very rare now. Like, they're hard to find. It is just amazing. My friend Jeff was here last week, and I was like, holy crap, Jeff, like, this cigar is awesome. So you got any more of those? I'm like, at home I know I do. I'm like, let me see if and I found another one for him. He was like, yeah, dude, you're right. Like, it is just like flavor, like pedal to the metal flavor throughout that entire Salomon.
Excellent.
You got to get some of those things.
I don't want to
smoke that? Have you smoked that?
No, I don't want to totally sidetrack you, but I feel like Cameroon in general doesn't get the love and appreciation.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
All
in
right, great.
La Aurora Cameroon, phenomenal. Kristoff Cameroon, I'm plugging Kristoff again, but that's and it's, correct me if I'm wrong, it's much more labor intensive. You know,
Well,
The process?
Well, first, to acquire the tobacco, we did a whole segment on this, but to acquire the tobacco is a pain in the ass because it comes from the country in Africa of Cameroon, which basically, like, the way I understand it, you got to, like, bribe people to get the tobacco out of the country because it's kind of corrupt. Once you get it, to speak to your point, I think more accurately, Joe D, is that it's very, very thin wrapper to work with. Like, I've been kind of playing around with different wrapper leaves and, like, you know, moistening them with distilled water and trying to take them off. The Cameroon wrapper is so thin, like, it is very difficult to work with. Like, I wouldn't attempt to take a Cameroon wrapper off a cigar because it would, like, crack and break. And
the Frankenstein scenario off the table.
It would be a horrible Frankenstein experiment to work with Cameroon. You want to work with something more toothy, like a Connecticut broadleaf, right? Like, yeah, I can work with that all day long, right? Like, that's thick. Like, I can get a hold of it and not worry about breaking it. But yeah, so broadleaf, rather Cameroon is very thin. So, but a lot of flavor. I think we did a segment about, like, non-Connecticut morning smokes. Stuff wrapped in Cameroon is right up there because it's usually not a strong blend that they're pairing with that Cameroon wrapper because it's so delicate. I think the flavors are also very delicate on that Cameroon wrapper.
I agree. Yep.
What else you got?
What I put it down there? Just click on one.
Oh, the bellow.
Yes.
Nice.
Wait, no,
I
wait.
even
That's
gave
the
a
one
shout. I gave a shout out
okay,
to
so
Joe D.
Much
It was
appreciated.
this morning.
I
It was-
love when new
Thank you,
cigars
boys.
come in this way. Like,
Yeah.
someone just finds it somewhere.
right.
All right, so tell the story.
Yeah,
about
tell
it.
us the story, and yeah.
Just I fell in love with this particular cigar. A friend of mine scooped it up 10 months ago down in Little Havana, and it's right in my wheelhouse. It's delicious, sweet, flavor for days, and I was fortunate enough to be back down there a couple weeks back and for a wedding, and scooped up a few boxes, one for the wedding and one for myself and my friends. You know,
I love it.
And,
Joe's like, when I buy cigars for a wedding, like I buy one for the wedding and one for myself.
if I'm smoking, so are my friends. You know, that, I live and die by that. And
Is this kind of like on the mild to medium?
Go ahead.
What would you say, Joe?
No, you.
I don't want to steal your thunder.
No, go first.
That's where I would put it. And
Good morning smoke.
Good morning smoke. Just a flavor bang initially. You know, probably not the most technical, but
Nothing like a good flavor bang first thing in the morning.
When I was looking up the cigar,
it keeps you honest.
Jody gave me this cigar this morning, and it was the first cigar that I've had of the morning, and I was like, oh, it's cool, it's Connecticut, let me try it, right? It's morning smoke. Had it, and, you know, Connecticut's are never my go-to, first and foremost.
Me neither.
They're not a go-to. And in my review that I put over on StogieGeeks.com, you know, it's where I'd be willing to make an exception for this. It was a great stick. The size was interesting. What size did I post on that, Paul?
It looks like
4 by 54.
The one you gave me
Yeah, it was 4 by 54.
like a short Robusto.
It was it was
Rothschild.
short, but it was a short, fat Robusto. And let me tell you
Rothschild.
something. Comes in, creamy, great, like a Connecticut. You're like, okay, smokes like a Connecticut. It's good. And then all of a sudden, it makes a switch. It's not a drastic switch, but it makes a switch where you're like, this is a really good smoke. And
Now,
But
what's
enjoyed it.
interesting is Coop did a review
Yep.
of this one. He
Of
smoked.
course he did.
Well,
of course he did, right?
Of course he did. Why wouldn't he?
He smoked a different size than you guys are smoking. He smoked a Bellicoso size, which Coop has not been a huge fan of Bellicosos. He rated it a 5-er in 2014. But you guys look like you smoked. Hold on.
I posted it on StogieGeeks.com.
He doesn't have the size you smoked.
Yeah, the size I did.
Rothschild.
He's got a 4.5.
It was a Rothschild.
4.5 by 48.
Yes. Yep. No. It was
4 by 54.
Yeah,
it's
that
on-
size isn't posted on his site, so it might be a new size.
Go to the wiki and click
Oh.
on the link. On the link
I can do that.
from me. Yep. And it'll go right to Stogie. That's the link on Stogie Geeks. So that's the size I had.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Because Joe D just gave me one of these today.
yep. So
Yeah.
see the size? It's in the
4 by
description.
58
Yep.
Rothschild.
Yeah, it's 4 by 58 and
58, yeah, that's what
yeah.
it
It
was.
was a 4 by
That's what it was.
58, and like I
So
said,
like 3 years ago, that size was 4.5 by 58 is how Coop had it listed.
Mm-hmm.
So it either changed or whatever. That's like a 3-year-old post from Cigar Coop. So
did Joe D give you one?
he did, yeah.
Yeah. Did you have it yet?
No, he just gave it to me like an hour before the show.
Yeah, he gave it to me this morning, and it was like I said, it was great. It was a good smoke. I was like, oh wow, this is
Nice.
interesting, you know. And I gave it a box split for sure.
Awesome.
You know, especially for Connecticut's, like I would put this in my rotation of a go-to Connecticut, which I don't.
You don't have, that's a
I don't
short
have
list
any
for you.
go-to Connecticut. So you brought, like I said, you actually brought, like for me to say, you know, I would go back, like if I had another one, I would go back to it. Like it's I'm definitely going to seek it out and
Very curious to see what Paul thinks. Right in Paul's
Yeah, I can't
wheelhouse
wait
with
to
the
smoke it.
Connecticut.
Yeah.
You know,
No, that's awesome.
to be determined. We'll
smokes
see.
to the nub. It's
Oh,
great
yeah.
smoke.
Oh, yeah.
Good stick. Thank you.
Oh, no problem, man. Of course.
I smoked an Ashton Symmetry Sublime. This is like a Toro-ish. Hold on, I don't know if there's a Toro. 6.552 Toro. $14 high price tag on this Ashton Symmetry. I tell you what, though, I'm more and more impressed with this line. It's interesting you're talking about John next door. Like, he was like, yeah, the Symmetry, like different sizes, smoke kind of different. I bought like a line sampler. And I kind of let them rest for like a really long time, and I'm kind of going back to them, and I picked this one up, and I was like, wow. I'm like, this is a damn fine smoke. Holy crap.
It's a
like
win.
it's
Yep.
smoking awesome now. $14 for a Toro. It's an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, Dominican, Nicaraguan filler. The binder is undisclosed. These have been smoking great. I smoked a couple of different of the Ashton Symmetry. I like the Sublime. I would call this one a box split all day long. Even at that price point, which I think is still kind of high, this is a quality smoke.
Oh, yeah.
A burn draw and construction were like impeccable. Like I needed something to, this past week, we kind of run around the studio. Like I needed something to just deliver in the flavor department and something I can't like sit down and touch up and that kind of thing. And this hit the spot. So this is probably an age of my humidor for a year or two, you know.
Better.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely check out. You know, Ashton has been kind of, I think, flying under the radar lately. They've had a couple of new releases. The Symmetry is one. What is the other one with the bluish wrapper? They got them next door.
ESG?
No, ESG has been around for a long time.
Okay. Bluish wrap. I don't know.
I thought it was Ashton.
Ashton's not my wheelhouse at all, and I loved it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a cigar event year and a half ago. Mm-hmm. And it's a win.
What was the? I could have sworn that was Ashton, right?
Wins and losses, Joe. That's where it's at.
That's right.
Okay.
Golfable, wins and losses. Pokerable. No. Pokerable.
Go ahead.
Pokerworthy.
Joe. What else you got?
Well, the other one I put on there had a couple days after the last episode.
Noblesse. Have you smoked that one? Noblesse?
Is that Ashton or the one with the cube?
No. That's that. Oh, it's a little Roman de Cuba. It's still Ashton.
say, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yep.
That one's really good, too. So they've had some new releases that have been really good. Anyway.
The other one, if you click on mine, the Partagas.
Yeah, Partagas.
You had told me to try.
Oh, these are some of the samples from General that I gave you.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Partagas.
Yeah, how was this Partagas? I'm curious.
I liked it.
Was it good?
I'm not too sure. What did I rate
5.5 by 50.
What did I rate it?
You rated a try one.
Try one, yeah. Yep.
So not so good.
Trying to think. Yeah, I'm trying to think where I'm trying to think. Like I always associate like where I was.
Yeah.
So obviously I took the picture. I was working because it's in front of my computer.
Yes.
And I had that. It was in the morning. Yep. It was it was the 8th. So yeah, it was later on in the week, and I had it, and it was good. You know, it's not a very high price point. It's from General Cigar. It's good. It's Partagas. I think Partagas is one of those companies that, you know, it's there. From a classic facing, it's there. It's on the shelf. And
I think their limited special releases from Partagas
are much better than the General line. Yeah.
Some of the best. Partagas 150 is absolutely classic. Partagas 160, absolutely classic. Partagas what is the one that it comes in a tube? It's got like a glass tube. I can't remember what it was, but I bought some from Joyles. It's a special release from Partagas. I can't remember the name of it, but it comes in a glass tube, and it has like a wax thing and this little like gold string with a circle at the end of the string that you pull off to like unseal the wax. Those are just epic. A lot of great Cameroon wrappers from Partagas that do the 150, 160, and the special glass tube ones.
Yeah, they're special blends. You know, you can seek them out, and they're very good.
Average everyday Partagas. Is it the 1845? C. Fuente's 1845. They've got a couple of special releases that people still rate pretty high. Mm-hmm. I agree. I think from General, they're a sponsor, right? But when they sign on as a sponsor, and even just in general history of the Stogie Geek Show, like the Partagas brand underneath General is like where it's at. Mm-hmm. But this one was just a try one for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it was a morning and palate was fresh and
yeah.
I don't know. I just there's something I search for. Like if to me having a cigar is having a cigar. You can relax. Okay, great. But then there's just something I search for on my palate, and I'm sure
it just wasn't there.
It's just not there. It's not a bad one. That's just try one, you know. Because I rated it a try one because when you look up its price point, it's readily available. If we have any new Stogie Geeks listeners who are saying, "Well, who's this kid Joe? He's reviewing these cigars." You know, maybe I'll go out and try one and stuff like that. And you know, if you see it in the shelf, give it a try. And you know, comment on the blog. You know, comment on the blog or you know, definitely give us the listener feedback. You know, or hey Joe, you should try this or whichever, because I think that, you know, I would probably go back to it within a rotation to do that, but I wouldn't seek it out. And because of the competition and there's so many great there's such great product out there right now, even with this whole FDA thing and everything like that. There's just so many good cigars out there. Like that, the competition itself, if they're in like a factory and it's okay, we're gonna roll a new blend, it's got to be special for today's consumer, for sure.
No, I agree.
You know.
General is responsible for CEO, right? They bought CAO. That Consigliere, Robusto, friggin' awesome. I smoked another one this past week. Speaking of General cigar, just amazing. I mean, there's a lot of different cigars in the General line, right? There's tons of cigars. Even with FDA, like you said, there's tons of new cigars. This one still stands out to me, right? Like, and it's not anything like groundbreaking or earth-shattering in terms of the blend, right? They're not infusing it like Kentucky Fire, but like the flavor profile stands out to me. And for a company like General to have all those facings and say, you know, we're going to take a brand that we basically paid HBO some money to have before, which a lot of us really liked. It was not a gimmick cigar. And we're going to put a new spin on it, and we're going to call it the Consigliere. And to have that stand out, I mean, that says something. I know General is a sponsor, but like that says something about the company that they're able to produce these blends that connoisseurs like us are like, wow, that's really great. And we're not going to like every offering from General. And certainly this Partagas one that you reviewed, I'm sure there's people out there going to love it and think it's great.
Right.
But for them to, on the flip side, go to CAO and be like, holy crap, like, believe me, I'm super impressed with that Consigliere blend. And I smoked another one this week. I usually light that up like later in the day, like on my drive home. And I'm just like, wow, I'm like, this is really hitting the spot right now. Like, it has that certain kind of earthiness that keeps my attention. And to even hit like a flavor wheel profile of earthiness, which is so common, and stand out really says something about.
You actually bring up a good point. It's stand out.
Yeah,
you know,
you got to stand out.
We're very into cigars. That's why we have these headsets on and we're on a podcast, right? So we're very into cigars, and for us to smoke something, it just has to stand out. And I really think that there are a lot of consumers out there who whether they listen to the show or if this is your first podcast, where they're like, you know, right, like sometimes I smoke a cigar and I go to my always go-to whatever and it just doesn't stand out. Try something new, because if it stands out, that's a great experience within itself.
What stands out for you guys? Like, what's your white whale? What's something that you smoke that you're like, holy shit?
For me right now, actually circling back to
Kristoff.
previous. Always, right? Well played.
Sorry,
well played, sir. Well played.
I have to put that in. No.
Well, Kristoff Salomon certainly were a limited run that were very good. Yeah.
My shop that I basically live at, Mr. Cigar, North Providence. Every time I'm in there, at least one Salomon, I get after it. But one of the previous episodes, you had Southern Drawer, Robert Holt. You weren't here for the show, Paul. Joe was at the helm, but
seat was comfortable. I might add. But anyway,
it looked pretty comfortable.
Don't get too comfortable over there.
I'm going to be honest. I was sold on Robert Holt, the message, everything behind it, and I was dying to try the cigar. And I was hoping and praying it lived up to the hype. And right next door here, got the 5-pack, the Firethorn for me, San Andreas wrapper, leathery cedar. It top to bottom, the thing was phenomenal. And I thoroughly enjoyed all the cigars that they had to offer, but that particular cigar for me, the Firethorn, really stuck out.
His story is a good story. I don't know.
Oh yeah, we've had him on the show before.
Yeah, his story is a good story.
We smoked the.
He cold calls the factory. You know, hey, how you doing? I like to make a cigar. All right, sit down. I think it's you just gotta. It's just a great.
I was sold on the message and the product well before, which is doesn't happen too often, but well before I even tried the cigar, and I had such high expectations, and for me it lived up to the hype. It was delicious and left me wanting more. And
was it like a limited and rare cigar that you guys are like, wow, I smoked one and
the Byron.
Yeah.
Byron in the tubo. I was gifted one recently, and man, is that special! Wow, I
agree. The ones in the tubo. I have one not in the tubo, and it's good, but it's not like that one in the They sent us.
I believe there's 3 that they.
Dave
that they
Garofalo
make.
was very kind, and he sent us a whole bunch of Atabay and Byron.
Yep.
And the ones that he sent us, they came in those special tubos. The ones you can reuse.
Yes.
They have there's like a whole tube. Joe, with
Humidification process within the
There's a
tubo.
whole humidification system in the tube.
Amazing.
You can reuse the tube.
The cigars that were in there, I was like, holy shit.
This is right in Joe's
These things-
wheelhouse with the,
Oh my
the
God.
business aspect of it.
Oh, yeah.
Man, would you appreciate the hell out of this?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Where do you get them? Over there.
Two guys smoke. Well, Dave, I think, came on the show and told the story.
Okay.
On one of our previous Stogie Geeks episodes. He has his own podcast as well, and he's talked about them. But
I'd love to hear in future episodes Joe's take. 'Cause,
yeah, and there's different ones. And the rep was here recently and gave us some different ones, which weren't as good as the original ones that Dave was nice enough to send us as samples. Like, put them on the map, like, in Stogie Geeks history, as, like, Will and I were like, good Lord, like, these cigars are freaking amazing. Like, amazing.
Game changer. Game changer for sure, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Like, Davidoff level, like, boutique quality.
And they're not cheap.
Really nice cigar. No.
They are not cheap for sure, but game changer. Nothing else I could intelligently put to it.
Yeah.
Well,
What about for you? What have you smoked in your lifetime that's...
I mean, I don't know. When you asked Donovan the question, I was like, I'm hoping he doesn't ask me this question.
Now I'm asking you that
on
question.
the spot.
Putting you on the spot.
Whale.
We got to find something for you. That,
spotlight is cued.
I don't.
this is you socially engineering me because you want me to give you like a fantastic cigar, and you're going to be like, "Wow."
I'm waiting for the, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm waiting for the. I don't know. I'm just. I don't know. To me,
I think there's a challenge now.
It is a challenge, you know, and I don't know. I'm pretty fastidious with that. Like, I don't, you know, if I could pick,
Great word.
like go-to cigars. Like I don't hate cigars first. You know what I mean?
No, I mean they're your go-to everyday cigars, which I have as well.
But like my
they're
white
one-
whale.
like
I mean, I've said this. I love the Monte Cristo No. 2 Cuban, if it's real. You know, I have friends, I got you a Monte Cristo. It's like, you know, it's like a thin little, it's not the one, but thank you. You know
Thank you
what I mean?
anyway, yeah.
But I that is my...
I smoked some Monte number 2.
I just, if I had to choose at today, this point, that's a great cigar. But I'm really getting in, like I said, just me coming in on the show and experience, it's really broadening my scope. You know, so maybe 6 months from now, if we could revisit it, I would love to.
I'll get you some in the meantime.
You know, for sure.
I'm taking it as my mission.
You know, I did like that debonair you had given me.
Oh yeah, I gave you debonair earlier.
A little shorty, a little shorty.
Maduro, first degree.
Yeah, I would buy a box. Like I've had that today when you give it to me, and I was like, I lit it up, and it's funny. An old business client came in. And like, oh, he hasn't seen me in like 3 years, and I'm like trying to enjoy this cigar, and he's talking to me, and I'm like, God,
you're like, shut up! I'm trying to enjoy myself.
I need this.
It's like one of those things where I'm like, oh man, like you know, you want to enjoy, but I'm like, and I kept smoking it, and I smoked through it, and I'm like, oh yeah, and that cigar did not have my undivided attention. You know how that happens sometimes, and I'm like, I want to revisit this cigar. I want to get into this blend. It's
a good feeling.
Debonair.
That's a great feeling, man.
And that was my first debonair I've ever had, and I want to get some more.
Let me get you the A.
Okay. Yeah.
Get you the A.
Yeah, for sure. I'm all about it.
A Maduro is probably one of his.
Did you ever have one of those moments you light up a cigar and then something happens where you have to continue on, but you can't the cigar's in the background now.
Yeah.
Fortress.
The cigar's in the back. It's
Fortress. There's nothing worse than that.
You know, and this guy's one of those guys like he just like even my buddy Ian stopped by right from work to catch up with me. I said hi and bye to him because this guy like captivated the whole conversation for 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just one of those things where you know I want to revisit that the blend, but you know, I was very impressed.
Well, Joe Hozempa, Joe D, thank you very much for appearing on the Stogie Geek Show. It's been a fabulous conversation. We probably talked for over 2 hours about cigars. Can you believe that?
So we could probably still go, but
We can.
we have to go.
We have to go.
Tune in next
for the
week.
Tune in next week to the Stogie Geek Show. Thanks everyone for listening and watching.